in leading us, Kenya will succeed. And therefore, I am happy, Your Excellency, and allow me now so that we climax this event with 2 speeches. And I'm going to invite the first speaker, Your Excellency, Raila Odinga. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Hi. You may be seated. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, who is also the party leader of UDA, leaders of the 2 political parties, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jambo. The ODM people here. ODM. 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 You see, wako tayari. Well, I am very happy to stand before you here this morning to talk to you after a long period of absence. As you know that in the last 6 months, I've been engaged in the campaign on the continental platform for the position of the chair of the African Union. Some people ask me why did I decide to run for that position. And I say that I was approached by senior leaders on the continent who, when they saw that that position was becoming vacant, they needed somebody with a Pan-Africanist ideology to go and try to set that movement in the right path so that it can achieve the objectives for which the founding fathers formed it. So they then sent the former Nigerian president, President Obasanjo, to me to come and persuade me to run. And after a lot of soul searching, I made a decision. And some of you will have seen me with President Obasanjo on my side when I announced that I was going to run for the position of African Union chair. I did not expect to be supported by the Kenya government. But out of blues, President Ruto announced that he will support my candidature. I thought this is a better way to get rid of him. Good riddance. I would say that, irrespective of the motives, he actually was genuine because he followed that announcement by giving full support to my candidature. As you know, you cannot run for the chair of African Union without being sponsored by your home government. You cannot just sit somewhere there and say, Mimi ni Professor Kithure Kindiki, I want to be a chairman of African Union. You will not even be seen. Your name must be presented by a government official through the embassy of Kenya in Addis Ababa. And this they did. And not only that, they put also the machinery behind my campaign. And Mr. President Ruto himself called various presidents and made appointments for me, and also persuaded them to support my candidature. He himself invited a president from East Africa here in Nairobi to basically adopt me as a candidate for the Eastern region. And this they did. So Kenyan ambassadors in all those foreign countries were also informed and that they would support my candidature. And whenever I went to, they received me at the airport, took me to the hotels, and also took me to meet with the president. I was able to meet more than 40 presidents on the continent. And I traveled Africa from east to west, south to north, like never before. As you know that I have been the high representative of the AU on issues of infrastructure. So I'm not actually strange to these issues, to the continent. But it gave me a better opportunity to now understand problems facing many African countries firsthand from the leadership of the continent. As you know that our continent has suffered seriously from invasions from outside. First was the slave trade that took so many of able manpower across the shores to go and work in the building of Americas, both North America and South America. Some were taken to Arabia, some were incarcerated there and died there. So that was the first. Then came colonialism, where they went and set somewhere in Berlin and partitioned Africa according to their interests. British, French, Italian, Portuguese, and so on and so forth. So Africa has suffered seriously. That was colonialism. Then when Africans fought for independence, they granted it, but it was a flag. But then there was also neo-colonialism that came about, and Africa has continued to be marginalized. So I saw this and came up with a program of how we were going to deal with these issues. We campaigned strongly, and we went to Addis Ababa quite confident of victory. Before I went there, the women here, Orange women in Nairobi, organized a prayer meeting for me in Bomas of Kenya. And they prayed for my success. And I told them that they were only going to do two outcomes in Addis. One, we would win, in which case we would have succeeded. The other one, we would lose, but we would also have succeeded. Because I told them why? We will come back home. So east and or west, home is? West. So we are here. So when I came back, I went to meet with the president in Mombasa to thank him for the support that the government had given me during that campaign. And he was, of course, very gracious. And at that time, I found when the two teams from the parties had worked out on some documents that they wanted to be signed, I told him I cannot sign this document until I've consulted our people, my people. So I took time. From that time, I went to Kisumu. I met with professor. I met with leadership and elders in Kisumu. I went to Siaya. I went to Migori. I went to Homa Bay. I went to Busia, where I met with all the leadership from all the 5 counties in Western. Then I went to the coast. I was in Mombasa. I was in Malindi, in Kilifi. I was in Kwale. I came back. I went to Wajir. I came back. Yesterday I was in Kisii. I was in Narok. I was in Nairobi, here in this same building here with leadership of Nairobi. That is what you call random sampling. And I think I managed to get the feeling of my people, my supporters. And that's the reason why I am today able and confident to sign this document. So I want to say this of note, Today, we have signed a memorandum of understanding between Orange Democratic Movement and the United Democratic Alliance. The carrier goal of the MOU is to help ease the prevailing tensions in the country, reconcile the population, alleviate their suffering, and move the country forward by addressing the critical social, political, and economic issues our people are grappling with today. As leaders of the largest political parties in the country, we arrived at the understanding that in a time of significant changes and challenges to our nation, it is not enough to merely grandstand or stand aside and criticize, easy as those may be. They say, any madman can kick down a barn, but it takes a good carpenter to build one. We have agreed to help build a barn for our country, rather than merely kick down what we have. We have agreed to use our parties as a broad platform, bringing together various voices, opinions, and concerns to address the critical challenges facing the country through a formation that is truly national and inclusive in outlook. A core problem we agreed to prioritize is youth unemployment and resulting hopelessness that has made them easy fodder in political contests in which there is nothing tangible for them. In this MOU, we agree to embark on steps to realign the country's economic, social, and political priorities to address the youth agenda that has progressively fallen behind in the last 62 years of our independence. Through this MOU, we commit to uphold the Constitution, the rule of law, and respect for human rights. Importantly, we pledge to tackle unemployment, cost of living, crippling poverty, inequality, and failure of the institutions that have been eroded by inefficiency and corruption over the decades, making them unable to deliver to Kenyans. We seek a more equitable country in which all peoples of all backgrounds are included in the enjoyment of socio-economic benefits and are equal members of one indivisible nation. All Kenyans must feel that they belong here by right and the right to access, without any form of discrimination, whatever Kenya has to offer. We commit to protect and to strengthen devolution as a machinery for ensuring a more inclusive development across the country. In this regard, we will be tabling a proposal that the unbundling of functions that has been recently concluded, counties should get not less than 450 billion shillings in the 2025-2026 financial year. We will also seek the faithful flow of funds to political parties, being vehicles for the channeling of hopes and aspirations of the people. We will use this platform to revisit the constitutional provisions on leadership and integrity, corruption in public life, fundamental freedoms like free speech, protests and assembly, and preservation of the rule of law. We recognize that many of the issues this country is struggling with are as old as the country itself. It will take mutual trust between leaders and the creation of a conducive environment for them to be tackled with honesty and objectivity in a broadly constituted formation. As leaders of our parties, we commit to hold regular consultations on pressing issues, exchange expertise and information on the best practices in the governance of the Republic of Kenya and facilitate and participate in public activities of interest to the people of Kenya that relate to their problems. We make it clear that the memorandum we have signed today does not define the formation of a political coalition between ODM and UDA. However, its successful implementation could inform the basis of steps toward the establishment of a broadly constitutive and progressive formation for a stable country in future. We urge all Kenyans who are interested in having a stable, inclusive, and progressive country, devoid of grandstanding and alienation of whole communities and regions, to rally behind this formation in the interest of our nation. God bless Kenya. Thank you. It's my pleasure now to invite my brother, William Samoei Ruto, to come, the party leader of UDA.
Congratulations. Thank you very much, the Honorable Prime Minister, and please let's take our seats. Your Excellency, Raila Amolo Odinga, Prime Minister of Kenya and party leader of my former party. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Excellencies, leaders of both UDA and ODM, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Hamjambo. I want to associate myself with the comments that have already been made by my elder brother, Raila Odinga, on the journey that we have come as our two political formations. When His Excellency Raila Odinga decided to run for the position of Africa Union Commission Chair, it was obvious to me that, number one, as a citizen of this country, I owed him support. And it was also clear to me that knowing him as a Pan-Africanist, as a leader with experience, and that he had immense understanding of issues Africa, he qualified for not just my support, but that of the government of Kenya. And that is why we went out of our way to support his candidature. As he has said, there were many propositions about his candidature. There are those who said my support for Raila Odinga was so that I could exit him from the stage. But there are those also who told me that by supporting the Honorable Raila Odinga and by him being the chair of Africa Union, I will be empowering him so that he can come and compete with me. And I had a very clear answer to them, that my support for Raila Odinga is not conditioned on him supporting me or him surrendering his aspirations for whatever reason. It was very clear to me that this support was deserved as a Kenyan. And I said then, and I will say again, that the Honorable Raila Odinga was a great candidate. He went out of his way. He ran a beautiful campaign, and I'm very proud of his candidature. The outcome notwithstanding. And when he came back, we have been working together in the broad-based arrangement that we have that is inspired not by what is in it for me or him, but how we can close ranks and deal with the issues that affect the people of Kenya. And that brings us to this moment. And I must congratulate the Honorable Raila Odinga and the ODM party for their boldness and courage to take the position for Kenya and for the people of Kenya. That to me is a very bold decision. It's a very courageous decision. It may not be a popular decision, but that does not undermine the fact that it is the right decision to stand with the people of Kenya. And allow me to say that our country is undergoing major shifts across socio-economic and political spheres. Many of these transformations are occurring within the broader context of globalization and unprecedented technological, geopolitical, climatic, and demographic changes, creating an atmosphere of immense pressure, formidable challenges, and even an existential crisis. Never before have Kenyans expressed such a deep and widespread yearning for positive change and political, economic, and socio-economic transformation that leaves nobody, no community, no region, no religion behind. The expectation for fundamental progress is unanimous, consistent, intense, and universal across the nation. There is no one part of Kenya that does not yearn for progress and transformation. These aspirations, grounded on our nation's enduring character of boldly pursuing freedom, democratically managing our diverse interests, and engaging progressive institutions such as a clear notice for all of us that the time has come for us to seize this historic opportunity, unite more strongly than ever before, and deliver meaningful change to the Kenyan people. We undertake this commitment with the understanding that while our political parties may differ in strategy, we share a common goal: to build a united, secure, and prosperous Kenya under a government that is capable, committed, and willing to ensure abundance and opportunity for all without exception. This realization has enabled Kenya's largest political movements to engage constructively, recognizing the unique opportunity before us. As leaders and as a generation of citizens, we must embark on a bold and radical path of national transformation, confronting and resolving the fundamental issues that have shaped every national crisis since independence. And we have had an able listing of what this is. This is the path towards the promised land where freedom and opportunity are guaranteed for all. We recognize that this moment is unlike any other. It is not enough to merely identify systemic and structural obstacles that have denied generations a fair chance to achieve their aspirations. More importantly, we must rise above political differences and embrace a higher vision of the Kenya we all deserve. Understanding, therefore, that jobs, wealth, enterprise opportunities, and social services must be provided within an environment that is free, open, democratic, and competitive, we move forward with a shared commitment that is not only doing the right thing for our nation, but also to ensuring they are done right. We, the leaders of UDA, Kenya Kwanza, and ODM, commit to implementing the NADCO report to address key national issues, including the cost of living, youth unemployment, and gender inclusion. We also pledge to foster inclusivity in governance and development, protect and strengthen devolution, invest in creating opportunities for the youth, uphold integrity in leadership, and safeguard the right to peaceful assembly. We will raise and manage national resources responsibly to reduce our debt burden by ensuring transparency, responsible borrowing, and an audit of past debts. To realize and to know what has been borrowed, for what purpose, and how is it going to be paid. I attempted to set up this audit. It didn't work. I am confident that under this broad formation, we will now be able to audit our debt. This moment is not about William Ruto or Raila Odinga. This agreement, this memorandum of understanding, is not about sharing positions or winning elections. It is about the people and the interests of Kenya. That is what is significant. To me, the interests of this great nation. We have talked about Kenya of potential for far too long. It is now time that we close ranks as leaders, because this nation can succeed. We have what it takes to be a great nation. But we haven't made the steps and the decisions that would make this nation great, because we have always been making politically correct decisions. We need to make decisions that are correct as far as the interests of the people of Kenya are concerned. I must congratulate His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and the courage he has to make difficult decisions. Not many leaders can make the kind of decisions the Right Honorable Raila Odinga can make. Very few people can put the interests of the nation and the interests of the people above or ahead of their own personal interests. I say that without fear of any contradiction, because I know the kind of difficulty my elder brother has got to go through in getting us to this position. And my brother Raila Odinga, history is going to charge you fairly for what you have done for this nation. Immediately after the elections, several months after the elections, I called my brother And I told him, you have been my party leader. You have been my senior. Today, by God's grace, I'm president. I want you to be treated well. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you have respect in Kenya. And I am not doing this so that for any other reason that is selfish to me. I am doing this because I'm a younger person. You are an elder as far as I'm concerned, by age. And the contribution you have made to this Kenya deserves respect and deserves support. And that is the relationship I have built with the Honorable Raila Odinga. And I am very clear in my mind that going into the future, it will take more than Raila Odinga and myself. It will take every one of us to pull this country together and to achieve the things that will change Kenya for the better. Let me say this, that equally we will fight corruption decisively, eliminate public resource wastage, and uphold the rule of law and constitutionalism, ensuring that government officials respect judicial decisions and protect the rights of all citizens. Our collective goal is a just, equitable, and prosperous Kenya for all of us. Thank you very much to all of you. May God bless our great country, Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Another round of applause for the principals, please, as I